It's also a honor to be in here. All of my background regarding geothermal energy and business refers to Iceland, the companies and professionals that are here at the conference. This time I will have a talk, presentation about the new energy regulation in Chile at the transmission sector and how it affects the geothermal business, and also a new regulation that is in the process of approval for the geothermal sector. Chile passed last day of 2015, the energy policy with a long-term view until 2050. In my years of experience, it's the first time we have a long-term approach from the government with a clear scope where what the energy matrix should be in the future, and what type of scenarios the sector could reach. And in those descriptions, also there is a way bill, the way the matrix will develop until 2015. The main goal there is set 70% of the energy production should come from renewables energy sources, and geothermal play a role in that portion of the cake. And also, since the year 2000, Chile has a geothermal law, and since now we don't have any megawatts online, and there was also a question whether should be the law be improved, and that is also under process. I will show you the main aspects of this and how it impacts the geothermal business. The facts, what we see today in the market, Chile had the highest energy prices in the region until the end of year 15, sorry. And through the 2 years efforts under the discussion of the new energy policy, the way bill until 2050, an energy agenda, that was a process from the last 2 years where all of the stakeholders had the chance to participate. I was representing there the Chilean Geothermal Council. Came out several aspects that need to be improved in the market, and one of those is the transmission sector. Regarding the energy price, the government is always aware about the competitiveness of the copper industry worldwide, and that has been an issue that, and also for the final clients at home, also when you pay the energy bill, the energy prices were the highest in the region. Fortunately, this situation is changing with the time, and now we are having more competitive prices in the market. Also, since 2011, we have a high penetration of, we call it in Chile, weather variable or intermittent generation type of sources, meaning solar and wind. And that has also forced the operation of the grid in a new manner, and it also was the point that the grid operator was not ready for that type of operation, and also the law takes some actions regarding that. Also, another fact is that the transmission system is not robust enough. We had congestions in some areas. Chile has 2 main grids, the northern and the central, and also part of the challenge is the interconnection between both, and that's change also will change we will need only 1 grid operator, and also will be now an independent entity. And what is, I think, worldwide, communities are more involved in the developments, and they have higher requirements for the projects, and also the indigenous communities in the countries, they find they have a lack of legitimacy. So the central objective of this regulation refers to to develop a competitive market, reduces energy prices, improve security quality from the service, and improve the role of the grid operator. All of these objectives are very good for the geothermal business. We'll check it in the next slides. 6 topics are the main topics of the regulation. We will check each of them. Regarding the long-term planning, as I mentioned before, for the first time, the government will take into account 3 scenarios, 10, 20, and 30 years in advance. Previously was done only, the, the planning process was looking only the coming 4 years. And this is totally new, and here the government also has the option to put some other criteria than technical in the way the system should improve. For example, energy policies, if whether the government wants to push a power cluster in a certain area. For example, the mini hydro sector will be gain a lot of this in the cluster concept, and the geothermal business can also gain in the north, can become a power cluster together with solar energy in the high Andes. So, and that has an impact in the business because at the end of the day, the grid, the transmission grid will be built by the system up to the project and will be not an investment for the geothermal developer. Also, will allow the competence of, will have more certainty about having access to the market. That's also today a concern for all of the project developers and mostly for the geothermal, since projects has to build normally a transmission system about 80 kilometers distance. Also the planning process will be reviewed annually and considers social, environmental, and territorial aspects in this process. That is good because the idea is to have the transmission system ready for the generation system and not the other way around. It's also introduced the concept of cluster, power clusters, and those are geographical areas with generation potential. And it makes a lot of sense for the mini hydro sector. So I'm talking here from power station of 3 to 9 megawatts that can not pay for the whole, for a 20-kilometer transmission system. So for those type of generation units, they can get benefit from this, and the government already defined 2 valleys for the development of these mini hydro projects that accounts for more or less 1,000 megawatts. And also the development as a public initiative, and the repowering is also a private initiative. So we will have both. Before that was only private. For the construction of the system, it has been very difficult to deal with the communities, with the majors, with the regional authorities, and so now the governments as a body, they define that they will do a strategic environmental impact assessment. This will align what the government thinks about a certain transmission system. They will define the path, a 300 meter or 500 meter wide path where the towers they should be located, and the private this will go to a tender process for the construction, and the private company will have to define the final location of each tower and also deal with the landowners and get the electric concessions and do then the construction and operation of the system. That is also new because the way it was done before, the government said, I want to connect from point A to point B, and that was all the information, and you had a certain amount of time, and the transmission were not there when needed. So that was a fact and was solved in another way. At least from the point of view of the governmental institutions, should be more quick, the whole process. In terms of remuneration of the transmission, this has been also an issue for the new developers in Chile, because after a balance of power and energy fluxes, the company knows how much has to pay for the transmission. And now that will change, and we will go to a stamp system. So we'll have a certainty on how much is the cost for bringing the energy from one point of the system to another point. That was very important for the solar projects because the profitability of those projects is very small, and sometimes the transmission issue was taking most of the profit out of the business. And also for the geothermal sector, where we are located, the projects are located up in the mountains, so have to transmit the energy long distances. It's good to know and to have a clear knowledge about the value of the transmission. We have also, in the transmission sector, we have the trunk system. We have sub-transmission. This is for connecting from the trunk system to the final client, or from the generation power to the trunk system. And there, the expansion was indicative, and now will be mandatory because there are a lot of sub-transmission systems close to hydro sectors. And yeah, if capacity was not there, the owner of the transmission system was not obligated to do the expansion, so the system was more or less closed, and no one couldn't connect to that. And also will be centralized planet, that is new, so here the government is thinking to move the energy sector in another way. That is good for the geothermal projects that are located from Santiago to the south, because they normally will cross one sub-transmission system. And also the law provides the open access to the whole system. Before that, that only refers to the tank system, and now the whole system includes also the private transmission system. Will have open access. That is good for the geothermal projects because then you choose the shortest point where to connect to the system. And you will avoid a legal process that takes normally 2 years until you get authorization to connect. And regarding the grid operator, as I mentioned at the beginning, the grid operator and the procedures they have, both a system, as the northern system, central system, will merge. So we need one independent body with new regulations, and they need to face the new way the system is operating. That's also included in the law. These are more or less the main things that the last point is more critical for solar and wind generation, and not for the geothermal sector. Now we'll move to the geothermal regulation. That is also, the document is already ready, and the government had the goal to submit it during 2015, but that goal has been postponed, I guess, till next year. But it also takes into account how to improve and facilitate the development of geothermal projects in Chile. I put this graph here because normally when the project reaches that point, so finalize the exploration activities, came a time gap here of almost 2 to 3 years. That was an administrative timing where the company had to wait for the exploitation license. So you could have a very good project, and then you have to stop the project and wait for the exploitation concession until continue with the investment. Because the exploitation concession provides the company the legal right to exploit the geothermal source in a commercial way. Without that concession, you cannot do the activities. So now this is a fact. Will be solved now in the new regulation. From the project that is today under construction, the Cerro Pabellón project from Enel Green Power, had taken 10 years, the whole process until the construction start. Should be online by the end of the coming year, the first 50 megawatt stage, and the year after, another 50 megawatt stage. So we're talking about a 100 megawatt project. The administrative issue regarding the exploitation and exploitation concession takes long, and also this government introduced a indigenous consultation into that process that increases the period of granting the exploitation right. And also the new regulation, but it's not part of this of the geothermal law, is in another legal body. The geothermal projects got access to the regulated energy auctions. That's also new in the industry. So here in the graph we see what the companies, so the geothermal business started more or less in 2006-07, when we had very high prices at that time in the sector, and the developers were estimating the investment between 3 to 4 million US dollar per megawatt, and by January 2014 that increases around level of 6.5 million per megawatt. The Chilean Geothermal Council has estimation of an average around 7 million per megawatt installed megawatt. So the capex had been increasing, and that has today stopped the development of the sector. Just I mentioned only one project is in the construction phase. In these 16 years, we have only 9 exploitation licenses, meaning by this that from the 76 exploration, we are talking about really 9 projects, and from those maybe 5 feasible. So it's a very small market, and we need a more active role of the government providing the exploitation license, so the geothermal business, the drilling industry can reach a mature status. So in that regard, the changes to the regulation, the concessional system change. We will talk now about a geothermal concession. Will not be divided into exploration and exploitation, just one concession. So when the company requests the geothermal concession, this whole consultation process with the indigenous will be done at the very beginning. So when everything is approved, the company will have the chance to start and not stop until the power plant is developed. That is something very, in my opinion, accelerates the development of the projects. And in the last 10 years, the companies lost the opportunity to close PPAs at good prices because the exploitation license was not there. And also the way the government will control the execution of the project, the company will have to set milestones, and if those milestones are not fulfilled, we'll have to pay yearly fees that will be incrementally. So now for the companies will not make sense to collect a lot of geothermal concessions as they do now, because they will have ending paying after 5 years more than 8 million per concession. So the logic says that the companies will release those concessions. And with this, the government thinks the speculation should go out of the market. Database, public database that we were discussing yesterday here with some persons about database is something we don't have. It's very hard to find data. There is public data, but companies, the private sector does not have access. Here the new law creates that a public database so everyone could have access to those data. Also the geothermal concession, the current geothermal concession provides the right to company to explore for water sources, to use it then in the power plant, and now this will be eliminated. So companies will have to apply for normal water rights or authorizations to build water wells under the water legislation, and not in this through the geothermal legislation. And also a new thing that is also discussed, it takes into account the way the projects should be closed. So now Mighty River Power is leaving the country, and they are killing the 2 production wells they have. Energy Andina did the same with all of the exploration wells. So they are cementing the wells, closing it, so from the environmental point of view, they can abandon the projects very easy without any cost. And the form of the concessions was also an issue. The law says the concession should be a rectangle with certain dimensions, and now was very hard to request concessions, because when you have a national park, those parks are not rectangles, so now they changed that. And with this, the number of concessions that the companies will request will be less, and that is also less activity for the administrative activities for the government, and will accelerate the process of granting concessions. And other minor stuff here that I mentioned: flexibility for call for geothermal tenders. And there was also a point where if a company requests a geothermal concession where it exists a geothermal likely zone, or there was a register of geothermal hotspot, automatically the government has to call to a geothermal tender. Now this is eliminated, so it's more easy for the companies to get to a concession. And this is my last slide. A summary from the point of view of the transmission. It improves the geothermal business, benefit the access to the market, and none of the regulations we have discussed in the last 2 years take into account incentives like feed-in tariff or tax incentives. So the generation sector or the power sector is still a deregulated market, and generators have to private negotiate PPAs with industrial clients, and that is the main challenge for the geothermal projects, when to negotiate those PPAs and the level of risk the developer wants to transfer in the PPA. And from the point of view of the geothermal business and the geothermal law, it is, for me, the 4th point is the most crucial, so it should accelerate the development of the project. That, in my opinion, that was the reason why the companies didn't finalize the development of the projects. It took too long, the period between passing from the exploration to the exploitation license, and the opportunity in the market went away. So that was my presentation. Thank you very much.